Hello, everyone, and welcome to our September Code Jam. My name is Tiffany Hall, and I am an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program. So naturally, this is my favorite Code Jam to do. I'm also a full stack engineer and a product owner, so I have the full gamut of things. I'm very excited to see from a product lens as well from a software lens what our teams have been creating. Um, it's been really great to see how our teams have been working together this last week. If you are new to a code jam, you might be wondering what that is. So, a code jam is a friendly competition here at TripleTen that occurs for our students during their normal coursework. These are super short competitions. We're talking a matter of days where our students are going to get together. They jam out a bunch of jam out code jam. Okay, we're good now. Jam out a bunch of code to meet the prompt. And then, of course, there's lots of prizes in store. I try to make sure that when Sharkbait sends his prizes, my cat, that they are, stuffed and not alive. But I can't really make any promises. Thankfully, we have TripleTen here to send other things that are fun prizes. And of course, the one thing that all developers want, which is more caffeine. Kidding, it's pride. We all have this sense of pride in what we are doing every day. So, our code jam consists of two parts. There is the coding part and the presentation part. Like I mentioned, last week our teams were divided and were given the challenge to create and develop a website or an application that makes cleaning up fun, and parents of the YouTube rejoice. From campus, so it could be adults cleaning up, and parks could be local community members cleaning up, or even digital spaces. God knows I've got some emails to clean too. Our teams only had 6 days to make their projects together, and they are from all over the US, which is one of my favorite parts also. They get to meet new colleagues in their boot camp and develop more relationships. So today, our teams are going to show off their projects to all of you watching, and then the judges are going to review them next week, both judging the code part and the presentation part. All results will be posted on the Hub and socials September 26th. So, if you're watching and you're a student of ours, you will be able to vote for your favorite project for an audience favorite prize on the Hub. And if you're not a student of ours just yet, you can vote either in the live chat next to me, or if you're watching this on replay down below in the comments, you just put the team name of the one you want to cast your vote for. That is going to allow them to win an audience favorite award, which is again very important. Pride. Pride is very important. Put our blood, sweat, and tears in this code. I don't care what AI tells you. Okay, so we've got our two teams tonight. The first team is going to be Tidy Fish. Tidy Fish consists of Pavel Zabov, Lala Blue, and James Moore. So take it away, Tidy Fish.
Thank you. Am I sharing my screen for this presentation?
Yes, that would be lovely.
Okay, working on. Am I sharing?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay, great. Let's get this slideshow up. Looks good. Are we working?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Hi, everyone. We are Lala, Pasha, and Holden, or James Moore. And today we're excited to share our project, Tidy Fish, a fun and simple app that makes tidying up less stressful and more fun and fair. Great. Cleaning up can feel overwhelming. Sometimes you don't know where to start. And when chores are divided amongst people, it can feel unfair. This leads to procrastinations, possibly arguments, and um, chores not getting done at all. That's where Tidyfish comes in. Tidyfish is a chore generator that takes some of the stress out of cleaning. By pressing one button, you get a small, manageable list of tasks. It's fair, simple, and easy to use. Here's how it works. First, you press the tidy button. Then the app generates 3 to 5 random tasks. As you check them off, your progress bar fills up, and when you finish, the congratulation message pops up, giving you a little extra motivation. Tidyfish works in a lot of scenarios. For example, siblings can press a button and get their own chores. Roommates can split tasks fairly without arguments. Or if you're on your own and you don't know where to begin, Tidyfish can give you a place to start. On the technical side, the app has a random chore generator, a live progress bar, and a completion message. It's responsive, so it works both on a desktop or mobile. We also set up a route. We also set up routing so that in the future we can add new pages for different types of chores. You can see here this tidy button is active and inactive. Um, the little bubble above the fish displays 3 to 5 tasks. Within the bubble, there are live checkboxes. The meeting might be in front of the rest. Let's see here. The progress bar is expressed with the orange and also some styles that show progress of cleaning below that. Finally, the app resets, so you can press tidy again, and the bubble or the fish will generate a new set of tasks. Here we can see the adaptive cell phone view at about 400 pixels and adaptive tablet view at about 600, between 600 and 700 pixels. We have hit our MVP. We've also planned for stretch goals. One example is turning the progress bar into a fishbowl animation. This would work as you complete tasks, the bowl would progressively go from dirty water to sparkling clean, right? Each stretch goal is scaling the app, or another stretch goal, excuse me, is scaling the app beyond just the home application. You could apply a page where the focus is yard work, car cleaning, car chores, or even community service projects. Another stretch goal is to build an array of completion messages. So you're not getting um, the same hurrah after each completion. You're getting, more encouragement and variety. Teamwork is as important as the final project. Our collaboration wasn't always easy. I'm the only one who was able to make it to the meeting tonight. One teammate dropped out, and we all have different schedules. Much of the project was done independently with quick check-ins, but we adapted, and in the end, we all worked together and built something that we're proud of. Our key takeaways are first, Tidyfish shows how a simple app can reduce stress and make chores fun. Second, teamwork is about adapting to challenges, not just um, not just dividing tasks. And third, this concept has room to grow into something even better and even bigger. Thank you for listening. That's Tidy App. It's a powerful way to make cleaning less overwhelming and more fair. We'd love to hear some questions if you have some. And I can show you the live site. Maybe this will come up here. Great. So open any questions. I'll just poke through the site and show you guys how this works. Here's the like button. Check the boxes, vacuum, fold the laundry, tidy the shoes, clean the kitchen. Boom, it's done. You can see the completion bar and progress. If you want to reset, hit tidy again. And you notice this animation is mostly representative. It starts out as like, it would be like, it represents like murky water in the fishbowl at this MVP. It would ultimately be applied per styles to like express clean water, but it gets lighter and lighter the more you clean. That's it.
All right. All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I love seeing the live piece of it, especially when it is the that cute little fish down at the bottom. So tell me about how did you guys come up with the idea as a team around I mean one of the chore kind of splitting piece, but then also how did you tie that into the fish?
So it might seem random, but first I'll answer your first question. We struggled with team dynamics from the get-go. We had, just basically opposite schedules. If there was like, you know, 3 or 4 pieces to the day, we all had different pieces, and like none of us had availability. We just made it work. So we had a couple ideas floating around, and days passed. We ultimately just needed to make a decision, just like you needed to make a decision when you're cleaning your house, when you're cleaning your car, when you're cleaning your neighborhood. You just need to start, right? So this idea represented our team dynamics. It was very aligned in that fashion. So we went forward with this project to just for the sake of moving teamwork forward. Just like Tidy Fish gets you going on your tasks, just for the sake of giving you motivation to get going. Um, so so that was resonant for our team in that regard. Um, as per the fishbowl, while that might seem random, the vision was, someone living in their apartment, right? And they're like, what do I do? Who am I talking to about how to clean my apartment? You're talking to, your pet, right? Your cat, I don't know, your fishbowl, your fish. So the fish is like being your moderator, allowing some conversation for you who's like, I'm overwhelmed. How do I clean my stuff? And they're like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Why don't you do these things? Spot clean your stovetop. Your shoes are a mess. Fold your laundry. So that's the inspiration of the idea.
No, I think that's really great. I have two teen boys, and that is something that is really difficult for them is that initiation. Like, how do you even get started? So I think it's a really great piece. So talk to me a little bit about the code pieces of it. You've got this progress bar and this click button. How did you make that work on the back side of things where the little nerdy pieces are?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sliced up the project into a few components. There's the main app, there's the task part, there's the task component, there's the progress component. The task and the progress component communicate, and we have our array of tasks, held in one component, and the function for process in the other. Um, both of those two things load onto the app, and boom, basically that's how it works.
I love it. That is fantastic. All right. And then you talked about like stretch goals and things. So what would you like to see? How would you like to implement some of those next steps?
Um, well, it would be really nice if there was some animation for our mascot here.
Mhm.
Open. We are a tidy fish, but maybe we're, I don't know, tidy cat. Who knows? Um,
Maybe you could change your pet.
yeah, you could change your pet. Oh, yeah. Speaking to that, it would be great if there was a server and a backend functionality where the user can kind of personalize their experience. They can load their own tasks. They can load their own themes. Maybe they choose their yard work. They choose cleaning up the neighborhood. They choose cleaning up their car. Just kind of pointing to the same themes. But whatever they want to do, it's not limited. So they can create their own profiles, they can create their own pages, and maybe there's a few buttons they can flip through the pages. Of course, if it was Tidy Fish, they would be bubbles, and the bubbles would be kind of more
Uh-huh.
convincing than our basic styles here. And maybe the Tidy Fish could move and would be animated. That would be really amazing. But something like that would be great.
I think that sounds wonderful. I love those ideas. Well, I certainly think that you guys were able to come up with a really clever idea, and it certainly seems like a lot of those pieces are really thought out. So, really well done.
Thank you.
All right. So, that was our Tidy Fish. And that is James who was presenting, James Moore, and then Pavel Zubov and Lala Blue. So now we're going to go to the Clean Code crew. Say that three times fast. And in the Clean Code crew, we are going to have Ryan Bomarito, Emily Scherer, Giselle Tavares, and Jordan Campbell.
All right. Let me share my screen.
Fantastic. Daily tasks, I can see it.
Perfect. All right. And I believe Giselle is going to start us off.
Hello, everyone. My name is Giselle Tavares, and I am part of the Clean Coke. With me, there it is Ryan, Emily, and Jordan. We together combine our skills in design, development, and planning to bring this project to life. Our project is called the Declutter. Declutter turns cleaning into a game. Every time you complete a task, you earn points to help you level up your profile. Those points can be later on spent in virtual shop. Daily tasks, streak bonuses, and achievements keep it fun so the users keep coming back. This is what make Declutter unique and fun. To organize our work, we rely on a few tools. We hold meetings on the Discord to stay connected, and Google Docs for brainstorming and keeping the to-do list track of the to-do list. This planning stage really helps us stay aligned and productive as a team. Our first step in building the declutter was a design, and we used the Figma to create the wireframe and to mock up our application per se. This included the landing page, register, and login screens, the main interface for our application. Designing first absolutely helped us visualize what the gamification will feel and will look like. From then, we moved into the development. We documented everything on our README, so the setup and the contributions will be cleared. The core features of our application is a landing page to welcome the users. We also have secure register and login functionality. And we also use the JWT tokens as a user authorization. So the JWT basically just allows the authenticate users to get access to the data. And the tokens expires after a week to keep things secure and convenient. So I'm going to move on with Jordan, who's going to talk about the functionality of our application.
Hi. So at the heart of Declutter are tasks. When a user registers, they can choose tasks and mark them complete as they go, and each task rewards them in two ways, with experience points, XP, and with gems. Experience levels up your profile, so as you level up, you unlock more task slots, which will create a cycle of progression. The more you clean, the more XP you gain, the more tasks you can take on, and the faster you grow. Gems are Declutter's currency. You can earn them from not only tasks, but also from achievements and daily quizzes. They can be spent in the shop on XP multipliers, profile customizations, or even streak freezes to protect your progress, which brings me to streaks. Every day you log in and complete a task, your streak goes up. Not only is it rewarding to watch that number climb, but streaks also multiply the XP you gain, so staying consistent doesn't just feel good, it accelerates your growth. All of this ties back to our design goal. Every action gives both natural progression through XP and levels, and spendable progression through gems and items. That balance makes the experience rewarding, motivating, and encouraging long-term habits. So finally, Declutter is responsive and accessible. Whether you're decluttering at home on your computer or checking in on the go with your phone or tablet, the app adapts. It stays smooth, visually appealing, and gamified across all screens. These mechanics, the task, XP, gems, streaks, and rewards, are what bring the gamification of cleaning to life. But I think none of that matters unless a user can actually experience it. And that's where the front end comes in. Emily will walk you through what we've brought those ideas to life.
Hi, thank you. So as seen here on our homepage, we built our app using a hash router to handle our navigation. So each button is tied directly to a route, which makes the app really easy and simple to explore. Another thing is we implemented on our front end was instead of hard coding all of our data, we used mock data at first, and this let us develop the front end independently while Ryan and Giselle worked on the back end. And once their work was ready, it was really easy to swap out that mock data for the real data and keep everything like still running smoothly. Also, this allowed us to design with scalability in mind. So all of the items are generated by mapping over arrays, which means if we ever want to add like more content, we can just update that array and make that. So it makes the app really flexible and future proof. And then finally, we used React hooks like useState and used effect, to handle interactions. So this gives every page from the shop to the quizzes a responsive and interactive feel to it. These interactions tie back to our gamification system and really rewarding users and makes them very engaged with our app. And now to go more into details on the back end, I'm going to pass it on to Ryan.
All right, thank you guys. Going into the heart of the app, we have our backend, and the foundation of our backend are the models. Each achievement, badge, shop item, task, the user has its own model. This basically defines what the data structure looks like. These data structures, going back to the mock data, mimic the same thing as what we had in our mock data. Moving on, we have controllers, which basically are the functions that talk to the front end to basically, like for this one, get the current user. So when a user logs in, you get the right one. We used the CRUD, so we had create, read, update, and delete. And in the future, for the backend at least, we'd like to add better custom error handling. I just didn't really have much time to get to it, so that's something that I would like to improve on when we further progress on our project. Moving on to the routes here, I like to use an index route because right here you can kind of see we have 8 different routes, and each of these routes talks to a different router. So like, again, achievements has its own routes, badges has its own routes. Imagine if all of these were all in one file, how long that file would be. And then, like, oh, I need to find the user badges patch route, then you'd have to like go searching through one long document, or just go to this file and it's right there. One thing I wanted to mention in this project was that I use seeding for all of the data, because for our front end, we don't really have a way for a user to create or add their own items or achievements or anything like that. So all of that data I used was seeded, and this goes back to the mock data again. These seed files, so each one of them has its own script, and it has its own database basically here, where basically all we have to do if we want to add more achievements or more badges is we just copy and paste this, and we can add another one and change the content out. And that makes our app very scalable so that we can scale our app much further whenever we get everything to work completely. Finally, I wanted to say we did deploy this using Google VM. Use subdomains in Nginx to handle HTTPS, static files, and proxying API requests. Finally, I wanted to mention we used GitHub to for version control. And if you look here at the insights here, we had like 46 merge pull requests between 4 authors. We had 94 commits to main, 97 commits to all the branches. So over 100 commits. And that's just the front end. Looking at the back end, we have another 17 merges. Only two of us, me and Giselle, really worked on this, so 27 commits there. But you can kind of see all of that version control here in all of the merges that we made. So anyway, here is the live site link. I'm going to send it in the chat. And I hope that you guys enjoy our app. If I can open Zoom again.
No, it's fantastic. And I will post it in the YouTube channel for us as well, so everyone who's watching can see it too. So really great job. I think my first question is the same question that everybody wants to know at home is why are you guys doing any gardening when you guys are building software? All of that seeding sounds like a lot of gardening.
So the seeding is basically an automatic script that allows the database to populate all of the achievements or badges in there so that I don't have to go in and manually put them all in one at a time, so that we could just populate all of them all at once and make sure that every user has the same database and is working off the same achievements and badges and all of that.
Fantastic. Thank you for clearing that up. I wouldn't want someone to think that you guys are just, out there back-breaking work in the heat. Now let's talk about kind of the group. So you guys had quite a large group. You had four. How did you work with that? It said you guys talked about Discord and utilizing that. I know you guys are a dispersed team geographically. Tell me about some of the things you guys use to kind of achieve success there.
So we utilize Discord. We have a server. I have a server that we kind of jumped into with a chat space that we scheduled immediately what would be the best time to do our daily check-in via Discord. But we also use Discord and Google Docs for asynchronous communication. So even if someone wasn't available, we would drop messages so that the other person would see it when they came in. And we always made a rule that as you did your work, you committed it and pushed it and made notes on what you did. So the next person always knew that what you were working on, the comments that you made, so that it always felt like we were flowing at the same time, even though it was asynchronous.
Great, really great strategy. And then in terms of the things that you guys were working together, now you guys accomplished quite a bit in a short period of time. What did you talk about as a team to figure out who would get what? Because one of the things that many people know in watching our code jams is like we have a wide variety of ability levels, right? Everyone's at a different stage in the boot camp. Like Ryan is already done and dusted with it. So how did you guys split the tasks so that everyone could be successful?
Yeah, so every day we tried to have a meeting or stand up around like 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern so that everyone could kind of chime in and be like, hey, this is what I'm working on. And we had our to-do list so that, I I basically would go through the app and I'd list out things like, hey, this is broken, hey, this needs to be done, this needs to be added. And it was just a long list and it just kept growing and growing. And then eventually it started to shrink again. But I would create those tasks and then we'd do our checkup and then I'd kind of be like, hey, Jordan, can you work on this gamification logic? Because he's really into gamification stuff. And then I always kept in mind kind of what sprint they were on.
Okay.
Sometimes they had to remind me what sprint they were on, so I
Right.
didn't, over plan. But like Jordan liked gamification. Emily was with graphic design. Giselle really wanted to get into the back end and worked on the authorization. So I welcomed all of that and I said, hey, this is meant for like pushing yourself and like really challenging yourself to show your skills. So go ahead and take this task on and check back in with me tomorrow and we'll see where you're at.
Yeah, I love that. It really is. And it's nice that everyone in this project was able to find a niche that they really enjoyed. In terms of debugging, it sounds like you guys did a lot with GitHub, which is great. That usually is like the first thing that teams tell me that was kind of the hitch in their giddy up. But what was maybe, Emily or Giselle, what was maybe one of your favorite debugging techniques that you've learned in school so far?
So using the debugger with the browser, that was really
Yeah.
interesting. With I honestly, my number one guy was Ryan. He gave me a crash course right away on the Figma. So we worked as a team really to get everything
Yeah.
accomplished.
You wouldn't imagine how many developers I still work with today that don't use the debugger tool. They still use print statements and console logs. It's a that's see, there's always those people. You guys, it is 2025.
Just
No,
I
that's
like my
really
console
great.
logs. I like them.
They're like a little security blanket. No, I think that's really great. And Emily, what was something that you maybe felt like as a design, really liking the design part of it that you really wanted to make sure was like highlighted through the Figma piece, but then also into the app?
I think definitely like the task design because that's like kind of our main thing. And Jordan did a great job. He did the whole animation thing, so I like that. That was all him that made it like look amazing. But I really wanted the design to be like eye-catching and like that kind of like colors that are pleasing to like that you would want to like encourage users to actually want to do. But
Fantastic. And then do you guys have any plans as for the whole team? Do you have any plans to kind of continue and go on to next steps? Because it seems like you guys were able to accomplish a lot in 6 days. God knows what you could do in a month.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to continue working on this. Right now, in the current state, there are some things that don't exactly work completely, like updating the UI visually, like as you complete tasks, you have to hit refresh for it to show your progress. So just fixing like all of those things that just don't work yet is something I
Mhm.
definitely want to get done, because I think this is a great portfolio piece for sure.
Really great. Yeah, I love it. And then the last question I have for this evening, which is one that all of us have been chatting behind the scenes about, is Jordan, do you professionally do read aloud books and things? Because if not, you might consider it.
Um, I kind of do. I tell stories for a living right now. So yes, I do read alouds.
Totally tracks, man. That was amazing. You came on and behind the scenes we were like, oh, okay. It was like the perfect voice of like listening to the Calm app or something.
I even I think towards our end, I even was like, hey, let's for our presentation, I'll even draft up my presentation notes for to help us like get on the same page so that we can kind of
I love that.
streamline it. Because presentation is big to me, and like the idea of not just being able to do code, but presenting it and documentation, I think is important. So I wanted to help make sure we were cohesive there.
No, I think that's really great. And again, another really great tip to be able to pass on to other teammates and other colleagues is that piece around how to make notes for a presentation, because that is much like a skill. We should get James to make that one of the tidy fish things. That could be the first step, right? Like what's the first step? You got to write the notes down. See, there you go, James. We got another one right there. All right, that is our last team of the evening. That team is this is going to be so hard to say again, the Clean Code Crew. There we go, Clean Code Crew. Okay, with Ryan Bomarito, Emily Sher, Giselle Tavares, and Jordan Campbell. So thank you guys so much for watching at home. Thank you for watching this on replay. As you've seen, these types of code jams don't happen in isolation. They take a team. And so I do want to take a minute to thank all of the team that I get to work with, which is Devin, my ride or die, Alina, Natasha, Liana, Anastasia, Dennis, also a ride or die, and of course Sharkbait, my cat, because he's always there. All of the winners will be announced on September 26th on the Hub and our socials. And please remember to vote either in Hub if you are a student of ours. And if you're not a student of ours just yet, go ahead and vote in the live chat or in the comments below. Thank you again to both teams for presenting. It takes a lot of courage to be able to work on something in such a short time frame under sometimes not the most ideal situation and really still see it to the end. And so I really applaud your courage. Thank you. My name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram and tiffanycodes.com online. And you could probably find Sharkbait trying to figure out how to get my mom to send him more treats. Thank you guys so much.